Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to MapMyIndia's Q1 FY24 earnings conference call hosted by Anand Rathi Shares and Stock Brokers. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Shobit Singhal from Anand Rathi Shares and Stock Brokers. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Carol. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Anand Rathi, we welcome you all to Q1 FY24 conference call of CE Info Systems or MapMyIndia. We have with us today Mr. Rakesh Verma, co-founder and chairman of the company, Mr. Rohan Verma, CEO and executive director of the company, Mr. Anuj Jain, CFO, and Mr. Saurabh Somani, company secretary and compliance officer of the company. I will now hand over the call to Mr. Rakesh Verma for his opening remarks. Post that, we will open the floor for Q&A session. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Shobit. And this is Rakesh Verma. Good morning to everybody. I think we'll keep it very short so that more questions and answers can be taken care of by us. The Q1 quarter has been a very strong performer. Year on year, the revenue growth was broad-based with both A&M up 24% and C&E up 51%. So, if you see, we are delighted that our Q1 F24 results wherein MapMyIndia achieved all-time highs in revenue, EBITDA and PAT. EBITDA margin was strong for map-led business at 54%. Even IoT-led business, the EBITDA margin continued to expand quarterly and was at 6.3% as against 4.0% of the last year. This is all because the SaaS income, as we have been talking in the past, has started growing. Q1 fiscal year 24, PAT also reached an all-time high of rupees 32 crores, growing at 32.2% year on year. During fiscal year 24, we outlined a 5-year vision of a growth roadmap for the company and are putting in place the requisite foundations that will drive the long-term success of the company. We are also delighted with the surge in interest and usage of our consumer-facing Mappls MapMyIndia app amongst users, which resulted in Mappls app becoming the top app in the App Store recently. This bodes well for the B2C future of the company, in addition to its supporting our B2B and B2B2C revenues in times to come, where we have been traditionally strong for all these years. With this initial remarks, I would also like to add a bit on the map-led and IoT-led business of ours. If you look at the map-led and IoT-led business of ours, the very quick statement that I would like to make is the revenue from operations. While the total revenue from operations has been 89.4, the map-led has been 66.6, and the IoT-led business has given us 22.8. The EBITDA, while the overall gave us EBITDA margin of 41.9%, the map-led gave us 54.1%, and the IoT-led gave us 6.3% compared to 4.0% in Q4 23. So this is pretty much in line with what we have been talking to the investors, how our IoT-led business will keep gradually growing, not only the revenue side, but also on the margin side. Rohan? can you now talk more on this?
Great. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining the call. As Mr. Verma said, it's been a good quarter. Year-on-year revenue growth was broad-based. A&M, Automotive and Mobility Tech, was up 24%, and CNE, Consumer Tech and Enterprise Digital Transformation, was up 51%. And our A&M revenue, especially automotive OEM volume, this continues to grow faster than the industry's single-digit volume growth. So in that sense, we are happy that we are outpacing that growth of industry volume. And a bunch of wins in A&M across two-wheeler EVs. A bunch of key go-lives happened, like Hero MotoCorp, which is one of the largest, if not the largest, two-wheeler company. The new Harley-Davidson comes built in with MapMy India, and the flagship Hero companion app also is coming with us, as well as some new premium ultraviolet EV bikes went live. And then, of course, our bunch of fleets, including schools, went live with our IoT solutions, and even the offline distribution of Apple's gadgets is expanding. And on the consumer tech side, we're quite happy that a lot of consumer-facing tech companies, large e-commerce players, D2C brands, food delivery companies, travel commerce sites, they're all starting to use our APIs for improving their delivery address capture for improved efficiency, and this is because our maps are more detailed and accurate. Plus, a lot of the ONDC-enabled apps now are starting to use MapMy India, and that means that we have a play in the increasing ONDC ecosystem, the Open Network Digital Commerce ecosystem, as well as corporates across industry sectors, be it BFSI, energy, consumer durables. They're all using our digital transformation platforms, so workforce management, geospatial analytics, and the government business also continues to grow across maps, IoT, and drones. And specifically on IoT, also video telematics, used by large metal companies, or upselling of more use cases with, for example, a large cement company. All this is taking place. And as Mr. Verma said, our Mappls app, which is consumer-facing, I think more and more people are realizing the benefits of it and the quality of our maps. For example, we give these 3D junction views, which help people figure out whether they have to climb the flyover or not, and that saves them 15-20 minutes time, for example, on a trip, or getting the trip cost like toll or fuel, which helps them be more cost efficient, or safety alerts such as current speed limits or speed breakers or sharp curves while they're navigating. Now, this means that more people are using our Mappls app, but also this starts to showcase the power of our maps and our solutions, software, to the enterprise customers across automotive and corporate and government. And so the knock-on effect of increased B2C usage, it will show up in the B2B and B2B2C business as well. That's what we hope. And of course, our B2C gadgets are doing well. So with that, I'll kind of conclude my opening remarks, and we can take questions from the audience.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question-answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Shobit Singhal from Anand Rathi. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So congrats on a good set of numbers. So I have two questions. Since the last 2 quarters, our CNE is showing good growth, and its contribution has increased than AM segment now. So how do you see this growth going forward in CNE segment? And also, how our solutions are used on ONDC ecosystem? So this is the first question.
Yeah. So for us, it's our business growth. We look at it as a combination of A&M, CNE. The specific contribution of one versus the other is on a quarter-on-quarter basis is not something we look at. Our objective is to grow our business across the board. So in that sense, we are happy with both sides, our automotive and mobility tech and consumer tech and enterprise digital transformation. Specific to ONDC, actually there are a ton of use cases which can make ONDC-based commerce and commerce players much more competitive, from a cost efficiency point of view as well as a customer experience point of view, and that's why they should be using MapMyIndia. Now, what is happening is, the biggest pain point that these days people face is when they have to put in an address, a residential address, and get goods delivered or food or goods delivered there. And when they type in, for example, a Google Maps API, which powers a bunch of consumers' delivery apps, then they are not able to put that house address. The delivery guy has to keep calling where to come, go to the backside, or it takes some extra time for that person. With using MapIndia's APIs, that delivery address captured accurately and navigable to the front door is what we enable. And the second is when navigating, these delivery riders or delivery vehicles, the riders are typically, a lot of churn is happening there and they're new to the cities. They don't know the ways. So like I said in Mappls app, when these junction views, speed limits, speed breakers, trip cost, toll cost, all of that is there. People are able to navigate safely and more efficiently, cost effectively. And in the delivery segment or logistics segment, this has a strong impact on profitability of these companies as well as the customer experience. So that's where ONDC-related folks who, are coming with a fresh mindset of reimagining commerce are able to work with us without those legacy baggages or legacy tech systems. And we believe this is a moment to create new commerce in the country based on better, more accurate maps than the legacy Google system, and that's where we are also having a lot of initiative and joint collaboration with ONDC. So that's the exciting thing.
Okay. So my second question is, on July month, automobiles sales growth have been very strong. So how do you see growth for A&M segment for the year?
Yeah, we'll be in line with or above in industry growth. So it's a pretty steady business as more and more also new platforms go live in the next year, especially the large EV platforms. Then we'll see some even more uptake. So it's a steady state right now, and we're on track for what we want to achieve over the full year. I don't want to go quarterly. I request everybody to look at MapIndia from a year-to-date, year-on-year point of view, and in that sense, we are on track for the year.
Okay, so thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sampath Nayak from Tiger Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for the opportunity and congratulations for the good set of numbers. So I have basically two questions. One question is on growth trend. So we are clocking a good growth. So can you tell me where this growth is coming from, and how are we poised for FY24 and 25?
The growth is coming from across our market segments and across our products. Okay, so this is automotive OEMs, mobility fleets, logistics fleets, consumer tech companies, traditional corporates, government. It's broad-based. In every segment, we have a large open order book. As you know, at the beginning of the year, it was 918 crores. So as we deliver on that order book, our revenues start happening. Plus, we've added a bunch of customers. In the last year, the number went up to 850 plus from 600, so about 250 plus customers were added. So as those customers ramp up, our mass SaaS revenue starts going up. And what we've kind of said is, we did the analyst and investor day and we put up the presentation back in June. There is a path that we see towards crossing the milestone of 1,000 plus crore revenue in the next 4-5 years. And for this coming year, we're anyways planning for a 40% type of growth, 40% plus type of growth. So we're on track right now, and we'll see how that develops or builds up by the end of the year.
Great, sir. Thank you. So my second question is regarding drone business. So in your previous call, you said you're venturing into drone business. So can you tell me about what exactly, like what kind of services you're into, whether into manufacturing or software or services, and also the total addressable market of this segment?
Yeah. See, in drones, what we have positioned ourselves in the market is we're a full stack solutions provider. We can supply drones to customers who need drones. We can also provide services based on drones or solutions based on drones, meaning that we can fly the drones on behalf of our customers, acquire data, analyze that data, and deliver them the relevant output. And also, we're a systems integrator where drone is just one part of the solution. So in that, and of course, we are strong capital base, strong credentials as a company. So in that sense, we are better off than the many small players in the market, as well as people who are only pure play drone providers, as well as because we have a lot of our own products and platforms that customers need. And of course, the market segments it's going into is mapping and survey. The country is doing this big exercise around Swamvitva or other kinds of survey and 3D mapping. We are participating in that, even for smart cities or state level governance projects. But even on the private sector side, whether it's manufacturing or energy companies which want drone-based mapping done, and there'll be more use cases that will build up as time comes, as we expand our kind of product portfolio organically and in conjunction with our inorganic investments that we have been making. It's a large addressable market. I think people have talked about it enough in the market, and we believe that we can participate in it nicely and strongly in the time to come.
So just one follow-up question. So what is the revenue that we have clocked so far, and where do we see ourselves in next 2 to 3 years in this segment?
We have not broken out segment-wise this drone segment. It is something that we've talked about as a third pillar for the company in the times to come. At the right time, we'll talk about it. But right now, we don't separate it out as a segment.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amarnath Bhakat from Ministry of Finance of Oman. Please go ahead.
Hi, team. Congratulations for a fantastic set of numbers and walking the talk as well. That what you are saying is delivering. That's very nice to see. I have two set of questions. First of all, this 30-35% growth for the next 3-4 years as per your business plan, how it would be the mix of that growth? Means it would be mostly from the map side or mostly from your IoT side. The very purpose of asking this question is, as you know, that your margin for the map side is quite higher compared to on the IoT side. So if the revenue growth comes more from the other side, the second side, it could have the impact on the overall margin and return on capital employed. So can you please guide us a little bit, this growth which is coming, how the ballpark ratio between this map and IoT services related, and how the margin will look like? We don't need a guidance, but considering the margin at that moment, 40-41%, something like that, will it be maintained something like that, or it will also have an impact?
Okay, let me attempt to answer your question. You have a very valid question. There are a few things people go by perception. If you think about it, how many companies even have a 50% margin on map business worldwide? Probably no one. Similarly, if you're thinking that the IoT-led business will be, since it's hardware-driven, so it might have a very low margin. A drone business probably is still not fully understood in the marketplace, so the similar perception may happen. So why I said all this is how you create solutions to solve the problems in the marketplace. What you do and what is that execution method you follow has been the secret sauce of MapMyIndia's success so far. And there is no reason why that secret sauce will not continue. So, in short, I can assure you, be it IoT, be it drone, or be it map, we look at all of them together as three pillars of the company. And then we try to see how the overall business growth happens.
Yeah, I got your point, sir. And I'm just trying to understand, overall, considering the business mix you were thinking, whether IoT, drone, or how the margin picture will look like. Because finally it's end up into the margin picture. And as you just now said, you are one of the probably one that who is getting that kind of a margin, 40-41%. And eventually, that kind of a margin will attract severe competition, either nationally or internationally. And to protect that margin, I don't know what kind of a moat we have that the others cannot do that, and we can continue to have that margin. I'm just trying to gauge a thing. At the moment, what you are doing something very unique, but going forward, considering your growth and the huge amount of the margin and return on capital employed, surely it will attract the different kind of an competition. So I'm just trying to gauge a thing that we are only getting the guidance about the revenue, but we're not getting the sense how the things will go around considering the current situation, which is very flashy.
Yeah. You talked just about moat and related to that margin question. So I'll just say that, look, it's not easy to build a map data product at the scale that we have been able to build, which is covering the entire country. And we're not stopping just here. So the business that we have built definitely has a very strong moat. It's not replicable by just capital that anybody else can potentially deploy. The amount of IP or intellectual capital that has gone in and the time investment, and then this ability to create so many use cases and so many products that we have created, which then usage of which further enhances the map. There is nobody else that has this ability. Of course, people will come in and try. They have in the past also. Since MapMyIndia has been in business, which means since '95, there have been GIS companies. There have been people who have tried to build data products. And the big ones, not just the small ones, they have not been able to manage it. So, and what we are doing now is we are making significant further investments in further advancing the maps, what we are calling this 4D high definition digital map twin. That's why this drones and IoT is playing an important role in getting us towards the next set of advanced map data products. And on the software side, we're covering various market segments, automotive and mobility through N-CASE and logistics SaaS, including hardware, and on the consumer tech, a whole range of APIs, so that to enable any consumer tech company, and then a full-fledged digital transformation platform for enterprises. So in that sense, we are shoring up our moat and trying to expand it further, and that will keep us differentiated in the market. Look, our objective is to grow our profits, okay? On the 4 and 5 year time horizon, we see a very large revenue that is coming up, a milestone that we will hit. We are focused on that. And what Mr. Verma said, our DNA of execution is to make sure that we are capital efficient. Whatever the other players may do or not do, if our products are strong, we continue to innovate and we execute efficiently, I think we'll be in a good position. Our objective with the investor day was to give a sense of use cases and revenue growth. We definitely did not want to focus that conversation on what the margin is. You'll see that build up in the next year or so, which might give you some analysis or confidence for the future.
Okay. My second set of questions, sir, would be your international part of the business. In your presentation, you said you already extended to 200 countries. I just want to know the growth from that international businesses, and is that business secure a similar kind of a margin what you do in India? And how do you project yourself on that international mapping thing? And compared to, we have the Google in our plate always, So India, maybe you have a government protection in terms of using of the map, and the foreign companies can't really go to that detail which the Indian company does, but that is not true for the international market. So how?
No, I'll definitely try to. India provides no government protection to MapMyIndia. Okay, Google has been in the market and done freely what they wanted to do since 2007-8. And in fact, they have been the one which have taken advantage in some way or the other through the monopoly and flouting whatever regulations there were. So, if anything, despite an unfair advantage, we have built up such a strong business in India. Okay, the situation going forward into the future may be different, but if history is a track record, then we are winning based on our competitiveness and our innovation and our market execution or nothing else. Now, when it comes to the international business, we have said since the IPO time that this is a story that will develop in the next few years, and we are working hard towards that exactly. I don't have numbers to tell you right now, and it is not part of the revenue estimation that we have given for this year, but I can tell you that there are increasingly customers who are starting to take us for our international maps. We are actively building international maps for various geographies where we believe our customers are there. I mean, our existing customers are already there, and we are talking with them, expanding with them. That's a efficient way of expansion. And again, for these international markets, given how we've been able to build a strong map data product in India using all sorts of technology, we will bring that to bear for these other countries where actually there was some prior public mapping infrastructure already, but in fact, in many countries, we are told that Google is not the preferred option or Google is not able to satisfy the market needs. India has taken a lead in the ways in which mapping is being used. That combined with our software solutions, our IoT systems, our drone solutions, I think will position us well when we go stronger and stronger into those international markets. It's a story like consumer that you will see in the next couple of years develop.
So your revenue projection does not include anything from the international, so anything comes out of that will be in addition to what you already projected?
I'm not trying to say that. I'm I'm just giving you a sense that in this year, we have not, because somebody had asked me a question even a few quarters ago that what will your international revenue be in FY24? I said don't count on that. We are focused on executing. So I'm not giving any new revenue kind of picture based from what we gave in the June investor and analyst.
I think just please understand that we have talked about in the analyst meet our roadmap to 1,000 crores. Every revenue from which country and which place, definitely we have not talked. And this year, definitely we are saying that our growth is designed and supposed to happen from the India story only.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your patient answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, I'd like to remind participants to please limit your question to 2 per participants only. You may rejoin the question queue if you have a follow-up. The next question is from the line of Anmol Garg from DAM Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi guys. Congratulations on good set of numbers and thanks for the opportunity. So I have a couple of questions. Firstly, we have seen a strong growth in the IT business this time, both sequentially on a Y-on-Y basis. So just wanted to correlate that with the cost of material, which actually has seen a bit of a dip if you look at on a sequential basis. So would that mean that a large part of the IoT business would have come from renting the devices rather than sale of the devices or anything like that? Or how should we correlate on the same?
Anmol, look at our business on a year-on-year basis, please. We don't do this quarter-on-quarter. Year-on-year, cost of material has gone up, okay? But of course, we have also seen our IoT business margins continue to expand. So we won't. That's.
Okay, sure. And secondly, just wanted to understand the B2C part of the business as well. Currently, as you guys have said that you are not generating any revenue over there, but that app is gaining a lot of traction. So any plans to monetize the app in any ways in near, medium term to long term as well?
Yeah, for now we want everybody to start downloading the Mappls app. What we are liking is, people are loving the app. They are telling each other to download it because it helps them. Obviously, there is a knock-on effect on B2B and B2B2C. As I said, the more people who use Mappls app, the more it helps our business in general. That's what is there. And of course, over time, there are n number of ways of monetizing a consumer business, but again, it's not something we want to talk about right now. Our focus is if you all can also, I'm saying this tongue in cheek, if you all can also get more people to download the Mappls app, it'll help you, it'll help us.
Sure, Rohan. And lastly, one thing from my end, is it possible to give a breakup of the IoT business between auto and CNE? So basically what I wanted to understand is the growth in the auto business, particularly in the map business out there. And also the realizations, if you can talk about, given that you have been talking about that more and more EVs are coming up in the auto business.
What was the last part you asked? Realization, EV? Just missed the second part.
So what I wanted to also understand is on the realization or the pricing part in the auto map business, given that more and more EVs are coming up in that business as a customer.
Yeah, IoT business goes into both A&M and CNE as well, okay? And the automotive business, is definitely growing faster than the industry kind of volume growth. So, there's more uptake of our solutions. Overall, if I look at automotive, four-wheeler, two-wheeler, CV, etc., across the four-wheeler and two-wheeler, we are growing well. EVs, all the new EV launches, at least, if not all, most of them, are going built in with our solutions. You saw the XUV400, which went live, the MG bunch of EVs which have gone live. And there are large EV programs that are going to go, live in the next year and 2 years. If you look at the automotive OEM roadmap, they also are talking about it. So obviously that's going to be a great kind of outcome for us, or good outcome. It's because EVs have more use cases for MapmyIndia, like range, addressing your range anxiety, or giving battery efficient routes, and along with EV, even ADAS is happening where maps are playing a important role. So I would say that we are happy with our automotive business. It gives us a lot of confidence in the long term as well, because the connected vehicle journey really started in the last 2 years. Our IPO year 2021 is when the first green shoots of connected vehicles started to come from the OEMs. And once connected vehicles have started to come with their next generations of platforms, the use cases for us have expanded. So this is definitely a medium and long-term story, and that's why we are happy about it. And we are seeing more and more EV connected and ADAS vehicles, and even mobility as a service starting to kick in, which will have good medium and long-term impact on automotive.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's it from my end. Thanks for the time.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mohit Motwani from Nuvama. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for the opportunity and congratulations on good set of numbers. My first question is around that, can you give us some sense on the number of IoT devices sold for the quarter? So good to see that, the IoT margin has expanded quarter-on-quarter, but just wanted to understand then how many devices were sold.
See, we talk about the IoT device volume on a yearly basis. I can just say that we're on track. It's going well. It's growing well. But specific numbers we'll share at end of the year.
So is it fair to understand that, as your SaaS income has started, kicking in with the 1.9 lakh devices sold in last year, FY23, these margins should continue to see an improvement going forward?
Yeah, I mean, on a year, look at our business year on year is what I'll always say. It'll give you more reliable analysis. And in that sense, yes, what you have seen first 9 months, I think, of IoT business, it was roughly something like 0. But then Q4 it went to 4. It's 6.3 right now. I may have got that 9 months number wrong, but it's gone from 4% to 6.3%. So we will continue to see gradual increase, and that's our endeavor to have the operating leverage and the SaaS income kicking in have a good impact on IoT business. Of course, you have to tally that against growth also that we want to drive because it's pretty large market. So we have some internal kind of calibration on where we want to see that.
Sure, that's helpful. And my one other question is on, can you give us some, color on the geospatial analytics solutions that went live during the quarter? Not naming any customer per se, but just any of the solutions that could have, gone live during the quarter.
Yeah. See, when it comes to this geospatial analytics, customers, for example, are on a retail expansion spree, or they're looking at their retail network and distribution, and for that, what MapmyIndia does is tell them by whether rural or urban, by area, in fact down to a square kilometer or half a square kilometer grid in urban, and in rural down to village level, and then across highways or roads, at a very granular level, we can give them geodemographics, which that, as well as our analytics platform that allows them to kind of correlate their first-party data, their own sales data, or competitor information, or data that we give about the market, and come up with the analysis where to set up retail outlets is just one of the examples. There's in fact many more use cases that they have for us, and we try to elucidate that in our investor and analyst day as well. So, whether it's banks or it's, energy retail companies, or it's, QSR companies, or it is footwear companies, many of them are also publicly listed themselves, or it is fintech companies, they're all using our geospatial analytics for, one example is, negative area for credit risk assessment, or credit risk assessment or go-no-go decisions on loans based on, the area profiling from where a person is, applying for a loan. So hopefully that gives you some color on geospatial analytics.
Sure. So these solutions would be falling mostly in the consumer enterprise tech space, right? And that segment, right?
Yeah. I mean, automotive customers also do geospatial analytics, and mobility customers also do geospatial analytics. I mean, they are also enterprises in that, right? But you are right broadly.
Sure. And that's all helpful. Thank you so much for answering the questions.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amit Chandra from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So my another question is on the IoT-led business. So here we are seeing such strong growth. So as the earlier participant asked about, it's a low-margin business. But if I see another major component of the revenue is sale of hardware. So if you can clarify, is the sale of hardware just a pass-through? And if I see the services revenue, the EBITDA margins on, if I take the net revenue, the EBITDA margins is around 18 to 19% on the services part of IoT. So how do you see that moving?
I mean, it's not passed through, and the impact of SaaS income takes time, as we've talked before. So, it's a complex calculation, not easily explained and probably not easily analyzable because there's so many different hardware which have different kind of SaaS components, etc. So, but in general, what happens is the hardware it's not a pass-through. The hardware will generate in future SaaS income as they continue to subscribe to the service, and so that's why you're seeing a gradual increase in the in the margins, but again, like I said, it depends also how aggressively we push the hardware into the market.
So as the SaaS component increases, so the sale of hardware also includes some SaaS. So as we scale up, so just want to try to understand is that when we gain scale, can this margin expand, or is it going to be at the same level? Because generally SaaS businesses have very high margin.
See, a couple of ways the solutions are given to the customer. One may be given as hardware with built-in SaaS. So that is known where the entire margin is a combination of the two. The other one solution could be where hardware is given earlier and the SaaS model kicks off later. So that's what Rohan was trying to explain, that it becomes a little complex. First is who the customer is coming, why we are doing it. So all these things, if you are trying to understand the IoT, that's why we are trying to help you with understanding our IoT-led business, where it went up from 4% margin to 6% margin. And we see a nice growth in happening over the quarters or the years to come. So and then, one more thing, overall try to understand the three pillars work in tandem. The drone, the IoT, and the map, they work in tandem. So there are companies who are just in IoT business. There are companies who are just in drone business. There are companies who are just in map business. And one of the things probably to understand our uniqueness is, at least I'm not aware, but probably there is hardly anyone who has tried to combine the power of these three pillars together to create a business where the use cases are becoming enormous.
Okay. And so, in terms of the opportunity that you have shown in Analyst Day also, so in terms of the major part of the opportunity is from the government and the and the mobility segment. So in our revenue, as of now, how much revenue would we be getting from government and mobility?
Less than
Not 10%.
Around or less than 10%. It's in the approximate odd. That's government and mobility. I mean, we talked about IoT. So these are relatively small contributors to the overall business.
Okay. So the government and mobility business will would be included in the platform and IoT side?
It depends. You can't. Those are product map and data and platform and IoT are product cuts on our business. A&M and C&E are market cuts on our business. So you can't say that one market segment goes on or focuses only on one product. It's for every customer of ours. We have multiple use cases based on multiple products.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Satyendra Chakraborty from Chakraborty Family Office. Please go ahead.
Hello, good morning. Let me start first with something in the P&L statement. So in the consolidated P&L statement, I see technical services outsourcing. That line is shooting through the roof, almost so that it is more than last year's full year's results. Can you give us a bit more flavor on what that is and how should we look at it in the future?
Okay, good point. If you look at the consolidated, I think you are looking at the consolidated financials, right?
I mean, doesn't matter. Both in standalone and consolidated, I see the numbers are really 4x.
Yeah. One is, what is this technical services outsourced in the consolidated? It is outsourced to our subsidiary when it comes to the IoT part is concerned for any of the items. That's one. The second is also when we try to use the services from outside temporary workers or otherwise in order to collect data and items like that. Third is, Anuj? These are the two? G2P and... So now if these are going up, that means two things are happening. One is we are building and spending more money on as part of internal creation of the maps and all that. And the second is definitely for certain revenues. If our subsidiary is doing the work, then naturally they will bill the parent, but in the consolidated now, it becomes the total amount.
Yeah, I will just add to what Mr. Verma is saying. As our map business or map product, creation increases, and even our IoT business increases, this is one of the costs that is going up. I mean, compare that to the fixed cost, which is pretty stable. The employee benefits.
If you compare that and see the employee benefit hasn't gone up in that way.
Okay, makes sense. My second question is on the C&E segment. So I think you have made a lot of points in the presentation. They are all very well taken. I was initially thinking of asking you how the market is evolving, but there are so many companies. I guess it is a very...
Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
I'm not able to hear the question.
We take the next question from the line of Godwin Fernandez. Please go ahead.
Thank you for taking my question. Sir, in a recent interview, we came across a statement regarding the work that we have been working for the defense industry. Normally, these defense companies tend to tie up with an R&D with DRDO and develop some products. Are we into any of such projects? And what are our prospects in defense industry? Thank you.
Our engagement with defense is going well. We have one business from the defense. We are in the middle of executing on that. I mean, it's something that we believe will expand further in the coming time, because our products are quite well suited, not just from a technical, definitely from a technical point of view, but also from the Atmanirbharta, Make in India, IDDM point of view. So it's something that we see as an important area where we'll do the strategic things, and we'll do the ones that are relevant to us and aligned to what our business objectives are.
Okay. And my second question is, into this consumer and enterprising angle, we are having clients like HDFC Bank, Bajaj Finance into our portfolio. And recently, a report from Morgan Stanley states that India per capita will be jumping around towards $4,500 within a span of around 6 to 7 years. So the industry or the space that we are into is having huge growth opportunities, considering the kind of clients we cater to. And so how do you assess, because still, I don't know what our clients are in pipeline. Since we have these big shots who take extra care in getting this mapping data and using it, how do we see the other players coming into our mapping solutions? Thank you.
BFSI and fintech is an important vertical. We have blue chip customers there, and we're adding customers. There are many players in BFSI and fintech customer segment for us, and we have blue chip customers, and we're adding more and more, and we're expanding our use cases and usage with our existing customers. So it's an interesting space to be in. We're happy with. It's like automotive for us. We're doing well there. I don't know about other companies like us and what they can do and can't do, but our part of maps, APIs, this digital transformation platforms in future where relevant, IoT, etc., or drone-based data acquisition. I mean, there's a roadmap towards growth in BFSI and fintech for us.
Okay. Thank you. That's it from my end.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, I'd like to remind participants to please limit your question to 2 per participants only. The next question is from the line of Bharat Sheth from Quest Investment. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you very much and excellent result. Sir, want to get some sense that the pipeline which we have given, say 25,000 crore. So can you give some kind of a break? I mean, directional, how much is, say, from our mapping business, B2C, B2B, and this mapping, IoT, and international, domestic, and when do we really start seeing those converting and going ahead?
We had done this analyst and investor day in June exactly to kind of explain that. We put the presentation up on the stock exchange. It's quite detailed. I'll suggest you read through it. You'll get more details from that.
Okay. So, and when we are talking of 40% CAGR top line growth, so how confident are we on this kind of a growth?
We are working towards that.
Okay. And there was always some kind of a seasonality earlier. So how do we see now with this kind of a business, this seasonality will again kick in, or, I mean?
Our seasonality, if you want to really observe, then look at it on a year-on-year basis. Seasonality, not quarter-on-quarter. I think from the
will still remain there. You mean?
From the very first earnings call a year and a half back, we have been requesting all the investors not to just go by one quarter. For this year, if we are talking about a 40% growth, look at the whole year. If you see this quarter also, we have achieved a 37.5 or 38% growth.
Okay. Thank you and all the best, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sarang Sanil from RW Investment Advisors. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for the opportunity and congrats on great number. So I have a couple of questions on the auto side. So first question is, how are the contracts drawn with the auto OEMs? Right? I understand the service is provided for 3 to 5 years. Are we getting the revenue upfront from these OEMs when a vehicle is sold? I wanted to know this, if there is an annuity part that we are getting from these vehicles, or are we getting incremental revenue from these vehicles only by upselling additional APIs? That's my first question, sir.
Yeah, the auto business, basically, they come up with new platforms every couple of years, and which have a bunch of car models or two-wheeler models on which they figure out what all solutions to put in. And that's where we bag those contracts. And then as those vehicles go into the market, each vehicle goes built in with our solutions. We have to provide them the solution from the very beginning. And also there are some components which have a annuity component additionally. So revenue is both at the time of sale of the vehicle and potentially and increasingly also there are some additional monies that we get per year depending on what use case, etc. And yes, beyond that, there are more use cases that across our N-Case suite that we call, navigation-led, connected ADAS, shared and electric solutions. There's more use cases that we are upselling to the OEMs.
So I believe.
Mr. Sanil, I'm so sorry to interrupt. May I please request you to rejoin the queue for your follow-up, as we have many questions in turn.
Ma'am, one more question. I'll just ask my second question.
Okay, sure.
Right. So regarding cars with ADAS features, how are the revenue inflow structured? Because ADAS being a very critical feature in a car, say once you're done providing service for the contracted period, post that, who's going to pay us? Is it the end customer or the OEM, considering how critical it is?
Couldn't hear the question clearly. General OEM is our customer. Consumer is customer separate business.
So ADAS vehicles with ADAS feature, right? So once the services being provided post the contract period, who is going to pay us? Is it the OEM or the end customer?
The OEM pays us.
So if a customer holds the vehicle for say 15-20 years, OEMs keep paying us?
I don't know.
Let me help you, Rohan. These are complex contractual issues. How can OEM pay us for 20 years of the vehicle ownership or not? It's something our customer is OEM and they pay us. That's all is part of the contract. How the OEM deals with their customer for 20 years is something between them and the end buyer.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, I'd like to remind participants to please limit your question to one per participant only. The next question is from the line of Sampath Nayak from Tiger Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. This is a follow-up question. So I understand that drone business is relatively small. So in like 5 to 6 years time, it can be huge, right? So I just want to understand. So like in drone manufacturing, we said we are into drone manufacturing. So is it like, do we have anything proprietary in these lines, or is it just assemble, we gather part and assemble? Secondly, on the like drone services part, so like you said you are into drone services also. So when you do that, don't you deviate from your core business?
No, the second question, let me answer first. Drone solutions, everybody knows the use case is mapping and providing map-based solution. Drone is used to capture data from the sky versus the ground. So who better than a mapping company actually to provide the drone-based solution where data is captured from the drone, but then again processed, analyzed and delivered to our mapping and geospatial GIS platforms, etc. So it's not deviating from our goal. It is actually enhancing. There's a network flywheel effect also in the business, because we are in the business of acquiring data, productizing it, and disseminating it through various use cases. And on the first, we are not ourselves manufacturing drones right now. That's why we have these inorganic investment and partnerships where we can leverage the capabilities of companies so that we can provide the full solution of that. And yeah, these are proprietary products manufactured by company partners.
Just, I think on the similar front, in the IoT also there is a hardware, and we make some of the inorganic investments we have made is keeping in mind that we get reliable capability and sources for whether it is a drone or IoT.
Okay, just follow-up question, sir. So this question is in terms of, you said you are into drone services, which means I think you provide pilots and drones, right, on a need basis. Am I correct?
No, that's drone services is a broad. We are not a pilot rental company. When I mean drone services or drone solutions, I mean that if a customer needs an area mapped or an area inspected and they want to get, for example, a 3D volumetric analysis of that, or they want to understand how that area has changed, some kind of change detection, or they want to extract some data from that. For example, the Swamitra project, where they want to extract property rights or land records from that. So they want to see the extent of the properties. That's a mapping use case. And that's where we are positioned very strongly. As part of that, if we have to fly the drone and we have to capture the data and process that, we'll do that as well.
Okay, sir. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, due to time constraint, we take the last question for today. It's from the line of Divyansh Gupta from Latin Advisors. Please go ahead. Mr. Gupta, you may please go ahead with your question.
Hey, sorry, I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you are. You may please proceed.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. One is that what is our map updation for the quarter and how do we see it on a yearly basis? And the thing that my understanding with regards to the IoT devices that we sell to our customers is that the mapping, the SaaS solution is available for 1 year. Now, given that Gtropy has been there with us for more than a year, what has been the renewal percentage of customers who have been using the devices for more than a year?
Yeah, on the first question, I mean, this map updation is a continuous exercise. On a monthly basis, we update and release a master map data for the entire country. But on a real-time basis, we also keep updating, upgrading, and publishing the latest maps, which is why you see when the new airport is inaugurated in Port Blair, the same day or very next day, a 3D map of that airport is available on Mappls, or if a new road or tunnel is opened up for public usage, it was already mapped as under construction in our map and then is opened up for navigation. So there's like a real-time rich kind of pipeline where we are continuously kind of publishing real-time map updates, and then there's a monthly cadence to releasing the master, and that's where expansion is happening. And on IoT, the SaaS income that you are seeing is a result of past customers who bought the hardware. We've not released a stat on renewal. I'll take it on board as something to see what to do for future. I mean, it's just we've started to explain the IoT business just in the last couple of quarters on a quarterly basis, so hopefully you're getting some insight into that already.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I would now like to hand the conference back to the management for their closing comments. Thank you, and over to you all.
Just want to say thank you to everybody. I really appreciate your time, and thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Anand Rathi Shares and Stock Brokers, that concludes this conference. Thank you all for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines.